Really glad, Juliet, do you want me to wait or?
No, I'm already rolling.
Oh, you're already rolling, okay. So welcome to the Mineral County Constitutional Republican Women's Meeting for March. So one of our big things, I was just talking with Kim a little bit about our purpose, and our primary purpose of our group is to push forward conservative Republican candidates, among a couple of other things. Family always rises to the top of that to support our families. But from our members, we have heard education, right? This is what we need. We need folks coming in, kind of current events, history, you know, what happens if we do this, what happens if we do that. So last week we had, was it only last week? We had Matt Erickson, the author of 14 books on the Constitution. So he was here. Wasn't he awesome? Yes. So I bought his books, and I've gotten through about 18 pages, because I read like 3 pages, and then I have to go back, because it's like, wait a minute, am I supposed to understand what I need to go back? And so yeah, I know why it's set up the way it's set up now, because it really is intended to teach while you're reading. So anyway, this is Bill Lussenheide. Did I pronounce it right? Senior. And I'm going to just kind of turn it over to you.
Oh, okay.
And you can give us the background, because lots of people are interested in who you are and all that good stuff.
I'm going to clap when I'm done. Is what really matters. That's what really matters. Okay. I really appreciate coming up to speak to you today. I really do. I enjoy that. I speak at church often, and the like. We get different gifts from God. We really do.
Amen.
And for whatever reason, he gave me the gift of a big mouth. Right? And I like to write a little bit. I didn't start talking until I was about 4 or 5 years old. I had to go to a speech therapist and all that.
Really?
Isn't that strange?
Einstein, right? Like Einstein.
Stop. Silent but deadly.
Once I figured it out, man. Actually, it was the same way as Teresa Manzella.
Really?
She had to go to a speech therapist and all that too. So we joke with each other. She's our senator down in Valley County, and she's very vociferous and outgoing and all that too. So it's funny how these things work out. But again, thank you very much for the invite to come here, and I will stay over for the Central Committee meeting. I am an elected Central Committee member for Valley County. Actually, I had an opponent. I ran a campaign, probably the largest and most profound election for Central Committee in the history of Montana. At least that's what I've been told. But anyway, hey, because I knew I'd be here with you beautiful ladies and this handsome young man, but I duded it up. I actually own a financial company, president of a mutual fund management company. So I got these Wall Street duds, okay, which really don't fit in Montana. This one's been sitting in the closet for a while. I said, I'll have a chance to put it on. And I got a Matt Rosendale haircut for you guys. Don't call it a John Tester. It's a Matt Rosendale haircut. I go into my barber and I said, just give me a Rosendale haircut. Hey, I'll give you a little bit about myself and I'll get into some meat, okay? But I'm descended from original Montana pioneers. Back in 1883, we were a state in 1889. Strong back, weak-minded Germans. Okay.
Hallelujah.
Lussenheide has the little dots above the U. We dropped that because it's too scary with the snake eyes, So we're good Americans, right?
Well, nobody's gonna get it anyway.
The railroad, in order to get every other section of land on the side of the tracks, they had to bring in X amount of settlers. So they were actually passing out flyers in Germany. Like, come on over. We'll get you a free passage. You come on out. And my great-grandfather was one of the original, on one of the first few northern transcontinental railroad lines. Not the one through Salt Lake, but the one up here. Right? That was a big thing. Actually, President Grant came out and they did like a golden spike ceremony out by the town of Phosphate out here. It was connecting between Seattle and Chicago. It was actually a big thing. So they were original pioneers, settled up in north of Helena. My great-grandfather's grave, just a few miles north of the Capitol building. But my grandfather was born 1887 in Anaconda. My mother was born in Butte, 1925. Next month she'd be 100 years old. And so I have Montana roots. But, you remember the Beverly Hillbillies? California's the place you ought to be. So my folks were in World War II. And the place you were supposed to be, Hollywood, right, aircraft manufacturing, all that was Southern California. So they moved to Southern California, and I was born in Southern California and raised in California. And got many a sunburn from ditching school every other Friday and going down hitchhiking to Huntington Beach. So, anyway, but I'm here, back to my homeland, back to Montana. And been a number of years now. On my grandfather's grave, it isn't amazing. My grandmother actually lived till 1970. I used to talk to her about what it was like being in Montana in the 1800s, right? It's how fast things have moved along.
So
She said,
to be how old?
they didn't have electricity, they didn't have flush toilets, you know. You went to church even if you weren't religious because, well, that was the best thing to go to in town. You're out on the farm all week, right? You get to dress up, go in a buggy, go to town, listen to an out-of-tune old upright piano, judge people, look at the other girls, gossip, and her father would get a newspaper, and she'd get a penny candy. And Billy, we wouldn't miss church for the world, because that was the social event of its time, right?
Yeah.
But it's not that far along to where we've gone. She lived to see men land on the moon.
Wow.
Think about that, how much change. Of course,
So
we've
what
seen
year
a
was
lot of
your
change
grandma
too. I still remember, rotary phones and a black and white TV. It was about this big.
What
But
year was your
anyway.
grandma born?
My grandmother,
Yeah.
1880. Grandmother was born 1885.
85.
Yeah, she was 85 when she died in 1970.
I think you're almost preaching to the choir in here, because most of us can remember rotary dial phones. And Beverly, I'm probably the youngest
What,
one
do you
in the
remember the
room.
first time you ever heard yourself on a recording?
Yeah,
It blows your mind, And they had an exhibit at the county fair where you could talk into a phone and it would play it back. And we were like, wow, amazing what science is bringing us, right? So here we are in the internet era, and this device is an amazing thing. It's a Pandora's box, right? But the knowledge of good and evil, right? But it's an incredible device. I can put that online. It'll be around the world. They can watch me in Pakistan. No, I'm serious. It's kind of amazing, isn't it? All right. But while I was in California, I was a candidate for United States Congress. I was in the Constitution Party. Constitution Party, I was on the national board. I was on the National Executive Committee for the Constitution Party. We advocate for the Constitution of the United States, conservative values, pro-life, pro-traditional marriage, those types of things. I was actually, in California, I was an elector, a presidential elector. That's kind of a mysterious thing, the presidential elector thing. A lot of people don't know how that works. You did not vote for Donald Trump. Do you realize that? You voted for a presidential elector who went to Montana, to Helena, and cast the vote for president, okay? And so I did that twice. I actually argued a case before the U.S. Supreme Court about ballot access. So I've had some political experience that way. Again, being on a national party board. Since I've been in Montana, I'm a Republican, a constitutional conservative Republican. Okay, there's differences.
That's right.
Anybody can put a R behind a name. We'll talk about that later. I was a radio host, built a business around. I did a financial program, kind of like Dave Ramsey. If you ever listen to Dave Ramsey, okay. So I had live call-in and on very large radio stations throughout California. Did that for many years. And I had a lot of fun with it. I like to laugh. But I had to interview. I would have Let me tell you what was fun. Did you have a station that you grew up on that was like top 10? All right. Ours was KRLA, top 10 radio. And they switched. It's no longer pop music anymore on AM. It became News Talk, and that was the station that was on. And boy, that turned me on. I'm on the same radio station that Casey Kasem was on and all that. And so even though it was a talk radio program, after every news break on the hour, I'd get an old 45 out of the back and put it on. Then I got to be DJ for one song. And I put on the echo mic and a voice, there it is, hi-fi, stereophonic, quadro sound. And I got to be a DJ for one song, for a song that I liked, right? And that turned me on. But I would have, because I want to have variety, because financial stuff's boring. I'm very expert at it, but it can be boring. And so I want to make it kind of fun. But it would interview candidates. So I had candidates for governor, Congress, and even U.S. presidential candidates that I got to interview, and that was a real honor and very exciting for me. And like I said earlier on, with Ravalli County Republican Central Committee, I live in Florence, in Ravalli County, right on the edge of Missoula County. They're counting on me. I'm drawing the line. We're trying to I've talked to people up in Lolo to secede from the union, Say, you guys need to join, you're part of the Bitterroot Valley. Yeah. And I think they want that. Don't be surprised that it may happen someday.
They do.
But, so I regularly go and I testify on bills up in Helena. I did a couple dozen this year. Enjoy that, doing that. We have some good reps in Ravalli County. We have Teresa Manzel, we have Kathy Love, and I've testified on a couple of their bills. And any of the other good senators that we have here in Montana. And there are several, and I love them, and they have good souls and good hearts, and I'm there for them whatever way I can. Well, so I follow political happenings carefully, closely. I want to give you a quick synopsis of what has gone on. I'm sure you've talked about it, but just want to review. But over the last couple of months, we had, to the discredit of Ravalli County, Senator Ellsworth, who was from our county, found himself in the heart of a political storm. In December of 2024, he attempted to hire a very close business associate and friend of his for a government contract for $170,000. And because it was at the end of the year, they did just a couple days before New Year's, and it was the last couple days of his term as Senate president, okay? He was trying to do an annulment with this Bryce Eggleston contract. What raised concerns has led to an investigation by the Montana Department of Justice, which found that Ellsworth had failed to disclose his relationship with Eggleston and that they had broken state contracting laws. And there's other elements with that. He's currently under an ethics review, which just finished their investigation and the like. They've launched that, and the Department of Justice is also involved here. But what happened is Jason Ellsworth wanted to be the senator president again, but he didn't get it. So he made a threat. He goes, I can wreck this place. I will make you pay if you don't. Now, a very good man, Matt Regier, is the president. Well, Ellsworth recruited what we now call the out-of-line nine.
Yep.
I created that term, by the way. When you see that, I copyright Bill Lussenheide, out-of-line nine. My wife came up with 9 O's, but kind of like a rhino and a nine together. But anyway, so we're proud of that, my claim to fame. But we had an advantage, folks. We worked hard. There was the Trump wave. America said, I've had enough of the nonsense.
That's right.
All right? Enough of having, 10-year-old boys get gender surgery. Okay, enough of the craziness that we had under Joe Biden. all right? Make America Great Again. There was a wave. Montana, one of the top states for percentage. It was a movement of just sort of saying, hey, zeitgeist, this is what we want. And so here we are, and that kind of carried over for our candidacies here too. And we had 32 to 18 advantage in the Senate. Republican. Happy days are here again. We can finally get some good stuff done. We can finally have, maybe close the primary down, all right? And all kinds of other good legislation that would come with conservative leadership, right? Well, Ellsworth and the 9, who were just Republicans with just an R after their name, Republicans in name only, have betrayed the party. What was once 30 to 18 is now 27 to 23 against us. And they're swimming against the grade, all right? It's a shame. I know that our good legislators are just appalled and feel that, boy, we had this opportunity to really get things in line, and we can't.
Bill,
And so, yeah.
explain how they changed the committees too, so they can act
Oh,
on
thank you.
things.
Thank you. Of course, the president is the one who assigns people to the different committees. And, you know, a process of a bill, it's not like TV. You got to go through a committee and pass the committee, right? And then it goes to the Senate. Then it has to go over to the House, and then it has to be signed by the governor, and then it has to be approved by the Supreme Court. So the committee assignments are very, very important, okay? The 9, they changed, with all this, they changed how the allocation was gonna go. So they could stack the different committees, so we would not have advantage on the votes there, okay? That's hurt several different issues, yeah.
They also did that right in the middle of the session. I don't know if you've seen that, where they were,
Yeah, well, actually, there were assignments already, and then right at the very beginning, they did the quick change-up, okay? It's just,
Hadn't been
it's,
finalized or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it's
that's what it
unconscionable what
But
happened.
it was right
really
at the
is.
beginning.
So Bill, quick question. So I know there's always political deals being made, right? So what did the 9 get in exchange for their vote?
Your brother-in-law can get a job over at Chevron or something.
Are they
you
trying
know?
to? Were
But
they trying to-
I have to be careful about some things, right? I just, there's something going on, all right? That's all there is to it. And they're voting as a block consistently. I follow all the votes. They're doing that 27 to 23, 27 to 23, all right? And so this is not randomness, all right? So they're voting as a block. But anyway, and I'll do questions after too. That's probably the best way to do this. But Ellsworth was a key figure in all of this, aligning moderate solutions caucus Republicans with the Democrats. And it's not only disrupted the party unity, it's raised questions about the whole future of direction of the state of Montana. All right? We're potential contamination for the rest of the nation. To our shame, because I love Montana, just like I know you guys do, okay? Rough, tough people, and this was a big chance that's just passed by us. I'm very disappointed. But I want to talk a little bit about this idea of what's called Solutions Caucus. There's basically 2 caucuses in our legislature. We've got Solutions Caucus. Sounds like a good name, doesn't it?
No.
Right? They're actually creating non-solutions, but and there's the Freedom Caucus, okay? Those are the good guys. Okay, so I'll simplify it. Class, bad guys, black hat, Solutions Caucus. Good guys, white hat, white horse, right? Freedom Caucus, okay? And they are good folks, they are, indeed. Here's, why the Solutions Caucus? What is this philosophy? They'll say, well, we believe in the big tent. We got a big tent. And they stole that term from Ronald Reagan, okay? And here's the history on that. What did Reagan do? What was the big tent that he did? Once upon a time, the South was Democrat, but they were socially very, very conservative. You know, picture the old Southern Baptist kind of Southerner, right? And why were they Democrats? Well, because Republicans were the party of Lincoln. Them Northerners, them Yankees, those are Republicans, and we're down here Democrats in the Old South. But morally conservative people. And it kind of stayed that way for about a good 100 years. It actually became known as what was called Dixiecrats. That's what they call it, Dixiecrats, okay? And so what Ronald Reagan did, it was actually very, very brilliant, was, look, you actually agree with us on most of these things, especially the social issues and different things. Like, I'm not talking about racism, those kind of things. You know, even George Wallace was a Democrat. He was in for segregation and all these other kinds of back of the bus and all that. But he was a Democrat. So things switched. Reagan said, we'll have a Big Tent. Listen, why don't you guys, you really believe pro-life and you're pro-God and you're pro-country, you need to become Republicans and vote for me, Ronald Reagan. And it worked. Of course, Ronald Reagan won by landslides. Fast forward now 40 years. Solutions Caucus say, we need to have a Big Tent too. But see, Ronald Reagan recruited from, we'll call it the right. Solutions Caucus believes that somehow, here in Montana, we have to cater to liberals to have a Big Tent. Because otherwise we'll lose elections. But that's not what we saw. We saw the red wave here. They're out of touch with what Montana really is all about. All right, we don't need to go and cater to the college crowd or the liberals or the Democrats or the marginal voters over here. There's not enough of them, all right? But they're under this illusion that we have to have that, otherwise we'll lose elections. They're wrong. They're absolutely wrong. And they compromise themselves along those ideals. And yes, we have a couple of them in Ravalli County too, in office, that are state reps. So we're fighting a battle too. But one of the things I wanted to cover, now that I've given you this background, now that I've given you inspirational dissatisfaction, now that you're mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore, right? Mad as hell, I'm not going to take it anymore. Remember that in the movie Network? Anyway, okay. So what do? Joe and Sally Citizen. What do we do about this? This whine and complain, right? Well, there are things we can do. I want to talk about citizen activism, okay? And yes, I'm marginally involved with politics, but even if I was not, or a potential candidate, as a citizen, you can do a lot, an awful lot. And I want to talk about that a little bit. I want to motivate you. I want to put a little fire under the buns, if you will, and get you revved up. So I love history. I love history. I love Montana history. If you haven't dug into it, it's fascinating. It really is. It's better than Yellowstone. It's better than 1883. The reality really is. It really is. I'm going to give you a little Montana history story. Have any of you ever been to Bannock? Bannock?
Yes.
I like going to old ghost towns. We have several old ghost towns, Garnet and others, Comet, and I've been to Bannock a few times. Well, that actually was the state capital at one time. I know it's a ghost town now. Maybe someday Helena will be a ghost town.
Yeah.
Maybe that'd be a hit thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, but they had a Sheriff Plummer. You guys might know the story. It's a fascinating story. He's one of Montana's most famous, infamous rather, figures during the 1800s. A man whose power corrupted him to commit heinous crimes without the fear of repercussion. And initially he was elected to represent the people. Maybe you know somebody like that around here. Maybe I don't know.
Ultimate power corrupts.
And he instead used his authority to terrorize the community. He was a bad guy. He actually created a gang. And they came around and they would extort money, right? Steal cattle and sell it back to the people they stole it from, right? And larceny and tyranny and all kinds of stuff. Masquerading as a lawman with a star on his chest. Right? This was a bad guy. His tyranny went unchecked until there were brave citizens who, fed up with the lawlessness, fed up with this unrighteousness, desperate to restore justice, and they took matters into their own hands. We need to take matters into our own hands. I'm not advocating for criminal stuff or things that are against the law, okay? Don't get me wrong, okay? I'm not some militia crazy or something, okay? All right? I got the look, but I'm not one, okay? I'm a strong back, weak-minded German. I can't help it, that, you know, the German thing. But no, I'm not advocating for. You follow me, okay? But they formed their own group. It was called the Vigilantes.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were vigilant. They hunted him down. And they held him and the other members of the gang and they gave him a trial, as you should, right? And they hung. Okay? Righteousness prevailed. Okay? Well, let's forward to today. We see chilling parallels going on in the actions of Senator Ellsworth and the other 9, right? And they're much like, well, Ellsworth plus 8. And there's others that are still kind of conspiring there too. But much like Sheriff Plummer and his gang, these out-of-line 9, group of disloyal lawmakers who backed the dangerous and insincere Uni-Party platform, okay? Uni-Party. Unified Party, in other words, all right? And let me tell you what we don't want. Being a conservative does not mean I'm just simply more right of left. Because you know what's happened in our country? The left just keeps going further and further crazy. And then, well, as long as I'm over right of it, I guess I'm conservative. It's gotten so crazy in my short lifetime. I mean, John F. Kennedy, who was a Democrat, he'd be considered a right-wing Republican today. Okay? All right? And so our country keeps moving down, and just because you're to the right of that doesn't mean diddly squat. It really doesn't, okay? That's not what we need. We need to have leadership, okay? And not a uni-party thing. But they betrayed the public trust for personal gain. Whether it's through contracts for friends, or for preferential committee assignments, or block voting in league with Democrats, okay? Instead of serving the people, they act more in self-interest, undermining the collective will of the red wave of Montana, and bending the law or legislative agendas to fit their will. So just like the vigilantes of old took a stand, us modern-day righteous, truth-loving citizens, like you, must rise to the challenge of these corrupt forces demanding justice for our people. You guys at least have a heartbeat to be here. Thank you very much. Okay? We're just everyday folks. Each one of you represents several hundred people. People that wish something would change, but they've kind of given up. When only 39% of the people came out for the primary, the right to vote. You know, my father was in World War II, got injured, saw terrible things happen, but in effect to defend democracy, all right? And all of us have heritage in there somewhere where we paid the price for the right to vote, if you will, and to just not be involved. People are turned off. And in a way, I get it. I understand why they're turned off. They've given up, but you haven't. And it only takes a few of us to make a big difference to tip the boat. So how can you be a modern day Montana vigilante? How do you become active in the political process? Of course, just you being here matters. It makes me happy. You're holding up my arms. You know, Moses, if you know the Bible, his arms when they were up, the battle was won and he started getting tired. So they held his hands up. It's good as a community, we have to know each other, right? To hold each other's arms up. We need to stay informed about local, state, and national issues, okay? We need to be voting in the elections. And we need to support candidates who align with the true, freedom-loving, constitutional conservative values. We need to attend town hall meetings wherever we can have a chance, okay? I'm assuming most of you are involved with the Central Committee too?
Yeah.
Okay, get involved. It's important. We had one of our legislators resigned last week. And it came as a shock to me, by the way. I only knew him marginally. And as he left, the press asked him and said, well, who do you endorse? He goes, well, I endorse Bill Lussenheide to replace me. I get a phone call from the press, like, what? What the heck? You never know what's going to happen, right? Of course, it has to go through a process through the county commissioners and all that. And I did not win. You have to do it within 5 days. Talk about a busy week, right? But I lost by 5 votes, so I won't be in Helena. I don't know if that's a blessing or not, but.
So did they get another, so it's gonna be that 10?
What was that?
Is it gonna be 10 now rather than 9 that are out of line?
Yeah, it looks like it.
My hope and my prayer is that it won't be. I'm not real happy about who got it,
Yeah.
okay?
But he was still the best of the 3.
9.
No, but the 3
The
that
three,
the other group
yeah.
put
He was-
3 that were put
He was
forward to
the
the commission.
best.
No, I'm talking about the group of 3.
That the commissioners had to pick from.
Yeah, well, I was there. And
Yeah.
I actually endorsed Kim Daly, who had ran for that. We endorsed each other. And that's sweet. That's really nice. And seriously, I would have been thrilled, and vice versa. Okay, because it's not about our own ego
Right.
or anything. It's about people that are going to be affected. And if that happens, we're happy.
Right.
Okay, that's what matters. It's not about whether or not you have your place in life or whatever. It's a team, folks. You guys we're all part of this team. Okay, that's the important thing to remember on that. But participate in rallies. Hopefully you guys have some rallies. Maybe you guys have parades up here or anything like that. Get a little float together. Get a couple guys with pickup trucks and all that. Our Senator Manzella, she has horses. And we're in the parades and we do that. I'll tell you, we campaigned to help her district, my district, and Kim's district all overlapped. So we campaigned a lot together. You do it on a horseback, it's really cool. But we take the wagon. She has these big, huge, look like Clydesdale black horses. You go through the neighborhood with that. Let me tell you what, you get a lot of attention. People bring their kids out. But get out there, hit the streets, participate in these rallies, go on a parade. Throw some crepe paper and some flags on a pickup truck. It's okay, put it in there, yes.
Hank Munzer from Dillon, he was, when Trump lost the election, he started doing a freedom rally every Friday night. They would do a parade around Dillon. And he painted all of his trucks with Trump stuff, his business with Trump stuff. He was at J6, and he was for a short time.
I knew Diane Cody that had an old Cadillac with speakers on the roof. He'd go around.
But he did
Like an
that
ice cream
every
truck.
Friday until just like
You got
several
the
months
horses,
ago.
I'll get the speakers.
But organize protests, right? Raise awareness on key issues. We did a petition drive. Let me tell you a little bit about this. So a lot of people, I heard this. It's like, you can't fight City Hall. You can't fight Helena. You can't. It won't work. It won't work. Well, let me tell you what. I got involved with a thing about roundabouts. And believe it or not, there's a whole roundabout issue going on in Montana.
I believe it.
And Montana Department of Transportation is being advised by an outfit called Vision Zero. Vision Zero believes in roundabouts. I did a research on who are the board of directors of Vision Zero. They're the most woke people. It's unbelievable. They're all from University of San Francisco, lawyers, University of Portland, they're from Europe. They have one of the board members of Planned Parenthood is on the board of Vision Zero.
They got
Okay?
them all.
They're a mess. I actually told the reporter, be very careful about talking to reporters, they'll twist everything you say. I talked to a reporter from Valley Republic, and I said, well, I think that, and they want to spend $10 million on this roundabout on Highway 93. Our whole budget for the county is only $100 million, okay? So that's a lot of money. We said that maybe a traffic signal might make some sense. Their Vision Zero, we believe, I can't make this up, we believe that that's too authoritarian. We believe in mobility, equity.
Oh, good lord.
I can't make it.
Mobility.
No, see, in other words, everybody has to share going around,
You can't
slowing
make me
down
stop.
equally, okay, that's equality. So I mentioned that to the reporter, and what does he quote? And of course, I very emphasized $10 million, it's ridiculous. I got potholes in front of my house, come on, let's get priorities straight. But anyway, he quoted me to say, Bill Lussenheide, the Valley County Committee man, says that they're trying to use the roundabout to put woke philosophy into Ravalli County. I go, no, they're trying to put a roundabout in Ravalli County. I didn't say they're trying to use it as anyway. Be very careful with the press. Don't never trust them. But here's the thing with the roundabout. So we organized, Teresa Manzella helped, Kathy Love, got some other people together. We said, let's form a petition. We got the legal petition forms from the Secretary of State. We only have 50,000 people in the whole county. We got 5,000 people to vote. It's a petition signed against the roundabout.
Awesome.
Okay?
Awesome.
It's not that it was legally enforceable, but that's a lot of people to make their voice.
Yeah.
Then we said, you know what, we're gonna go to the commissioners, county commissioners meeting.
Yes.
And we got, probably was around 35 people. We all went up there and we all had our thing. I created a funny poem to make fun of roundabouts.
Yeah.
And I read it to the commissioners, other people had their thing, different issues with the roundabout and the like. And we had a hearing on that. And so anyway, we convinced the commissioners to go to Montana Department of Transportation and say, our people don't want it, okay?
Good.
Then we decided to have a rally. Now, this was not January 6th, okay? We had the sign, we had like we got a hot dog thing and popcorn, and little old ladies came, people with wheelchairs came. It was a lot of fun. We had signs, shouted out, no roundabout, right? We were having fun, and truckers would come by and honking their horn, and it was fun. It was actually like a social event. But people saw us, and we got a little write-up, boy, they're out there protesting against the roundabout, and it was fun. But it was effective too. And guess what? They didn't put the roundabout in.
Whoa, awesome.
Were they authoritarian and put the light in?
No, well, they wanted $1.5 million for a traffic light. I don't know how things cost this much, right? But we even argued that that's too much. And so we said, let's reduce the speed. Can you just reduce the speed of that thing? So now it's slower and it's safer and all that. And that was probably the right way to do it, was put up, instead of 70, make it 55 for a little while.
Right.
But we did it. Citizens did it. Just everyday Joes.
That's right.
Little merchants, little store, little copy store, hey, sign our petition. We went to the little county fair thing at Victor, and we had a little booth, and come sign our petition. And it made a difference. So I'm here to tell you, stuff can happen. All right, we didn't change the world, we didn't put a man on Mars. But we didn't waste $10 million on a roundabout in Ravalli County. Right? Wrap your arms around the things that you can do, and you can do more than you think, is what I'm saying, okay? Contact your elected officials. Voice your concerns. Write letters, emails, sign petitions. Let me tell you something. The folks up there in Helena, some of them, when you send that email, don't vote for House Bill 302. They don't read it. They don't care. But a lot of them do. All right. I know it seems like it's going to the dead letter office, and they a lot of times won't respond. I've written to governor, and you get this form letter back, staffer makes. But they do tally how many people called on this issue. What kind of noise was there, all right? It makes a difference. How much time does that take? How much does it cost? It doesn't even cost a stamp. You can email. And they actually print them out on these blue cards. And they get them on their desk. So do it. Do it. It can make a difference, all right?
Especially when they have a big stack of them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Generally
you know
just
you're in
using
trouble.
the circular
You know you're in
file.
trouble when you go to your desk and here's a stack of blue cards on your desk. They may not read them, but they're like, I'm not making people happy, okay? So who knows what votes we can influence on that. Hey, and go engage on social media platforms to influence public opinion. I'm big on that, I do it all the time.
Yes,
I like
you
to
do.
I like to have fun with it. You know, and by the way, so, you know, I'm shaving, and I got a nice suit on. I'm usually like in some bathrobe, hair sticking out. 1 in the morning, writing my idiocy. But people read it. People do. All of you that like my post, I told them earlier, I do notice. I'm so happy somebody likes it. I'm loved. I like, no, seriously, thank you very much for those of you that like my post. But no, people read this stuff. The Ravalli County Forum, it's got about 3,000 people on there. I think that's more than read the Bitterroot Star newspaper. Okay? So this digital age, right? This thing it has more reach than you think. All right? And so even just putting a like, people that you support, people that are saying the right things, it makes a difference. Do it. Sign those petitions, all right? They can made a difference in our case. Volunteer for campaigns. So I have helped 17 different campaigns besides campaigns I've ran for myself. Volunteers that are willing to do anything are hard to come by. That makes you very, very valuable. I don't care if it's stuff in an envelope, passing out flyers on the door. You know, not everybody is a salesman, or, you know, but there are things to be done. I knew of a campaign where he knew how to take people's talents and use them. So there was one guy who says, all I know how to do is, I'm a professional chef, but I'm kind of quiet and I'm not real public. He goes, not a problem, we're gonna have meetings on it, and you're gonna cook beautiful gourmet food for them, right? And people started coming because they just wanted to get this great French cooking. Okay? Another guy, he goes, well, I'm just good with my hands. I'm just an auto mechanic. What can I do to help in a campaign? He goes, great. When we're having our meetings, you can help fix people's cars up in the parking lot. And don't laugh, this happened. And you advertise it, hey, get your car fixed when you come in to help out in the campaign. You're doing telemarketing or whatever. And meanwhile, you can get an oil change, you can get your wheels aligned, or get a tune-up or whatever else it is. And that's how he served. There's a place for you, okay? If there's a fundraiser and you like to knit things or something, and that can be part of the auctioning, find your spot. There's a spot for all of you, for all the different personality types, for all the different gifts that God has given you, okay? There's a place for you, and it's hard to find people that want to contribute their time and their effort. Hey, and listen, a few bucks, you've been blessed. It really greases the sled a lot too, because campaigns are expensive. They are indeed.
But just a warning, Red Wave, don't ever give
No.
money to them because they have scammed people. And how do you know where your money's going to begin with?
Stay away from Red Wave.
Don't ever, just give it to the person.
Be very careful of the different 501c4s as well. A lot of times, they're just a lot of charity things are just money-making operations of all types, religious ones and other ones, you know, helping the veterans and they're just, be careful. That's why you want to be direct. If you can directly pay for things, or, you know, pro-life groups, I'm going to assume most of you are pro-life, okay? Get involved with there. We have a great gal down in our county, Robin Sertel.
Yes,
And she is a saint, I'll tell you
amazing.
that much. Okay?
Yes.
I know her well, and any nickel that goes in that direction is being used
That's
for
right.
not into her pocket at all, ever. And so again, a few dollars could grease the skids. So let's all of us become modern day Montana vigilantes, all right? Make sure we don't get any more Plummer Ellsworths or Adam Niners, or Ninos, no more Ninos. Get a bumper sticker, put it on your car. No more Ninos, ever again. I'm gonna go a little bit of a different direction. I don't mean to preach a little bit, but you bear with me. You realize we put in God we trust right on the money?
Yes, we do.
Huh? When you're putting it on the money, that's pretty serious stuff. And did you know that every single state constitution says something about God?
Yes.
Okay? Declaration of Independence speaks about the endowment of rights from the Creator and the like. You know, George Washington was praying when he crossed Valley Forge and they were attacking the Hessians on Christmas Eve. Good good timing. When you attack the Germans on Christmas Eve, because they like to drink on Christmas Eve. They were Hessian soldiers, right? They kind of by surprise, okay?
Did I tell him I'm part German?
But there's an unshakable strength that we have as God-fearing Christians. One nation under God, indivisible, under God. Every president, and by the way, when I swore in, Teresa swore me in,
Oh.
a committee meeting.
That's awesome.
I had that privilege. But, you know, I'm there with,
And on the Bible.
on the Bible, right? President swears in on the Bible,
Yes.
okay? And enough of this stuff that, you know, secular idea that,
Except for Obama. He had the.
no, I checked on that, by the way.
Really? That's what.
Yes, I did. Yeah, he was on Thomas Jefferson's Bible.
The red one?
I heard that, so I had to check on that. Because I actually have said this before, and somebody called me on it before,
Okay.
you're not the first.
Okay.
So that's a common rumor,
So what is it that he signed on?
Thomas Jefferson's Bible.
What is that?
Thomas Jefferson,
The
president.
original Bible.
His personal Bible. His personal Bible?
Yeah.
Oh, but it's the right kind of Bible.
It's been,
Okay.
I haven't read Thomas Jefferson's Bible.
I'm just wondering if it's the right
I don't
one.
know, I don't know what was in the margin notes, okay, I don't know. But anyway, the,
So hopefully it was good.
enough of this. I'm not gonna try to define what your religion is. I'm sure any one of you, and I'm serious about my Christianity, but we can find something to debate about within 5 minutes, okay? Right? But the general thrust that there is an overseeing power, that
Amen.
the good Lord wanted to have a country where there was religious freedom, so we can preach the gospel to the world, okay? And hopefully try to live a better life with it, okay? It's important. And we've gone downhill since we've removed God from the public square,
Yeah,
okay? It
absolutely.
wasn't that long ago. I testified on a bill that Bob Phelan had, good man, that there would just be a little 10 Commandments in the classroom. 8.5 by 11, little paper, little frame thing on the wall. Oh my goodness, you can't believe the stuff, the blowback. You would have thought, you know, it was the Church of Satan we wanted to put up there or something like that.
No, that's okay.
Well, maybe that is okay by today's standards, I don't know. But it's like, what a blasphemy.
Yes.
Are you kidding? No, in a country where even our state constitution, every state constitution talks about glory to God, thanks to God, definitely, including Montana, okay? So, I don't know what to say. But where I'm going with this is that we can't let our spirits break, okay? Having a faith is important in this process. Because it takes faith. It takes more than just what we have within ourselves. I'll tell you what, the system will want to break you,
That's right.
Yeah.
okay? We have to have a vision of something bigger. And even bigger beyond just the idea of, I got grandchildren now and that type of thing. If you don't have the faith, you will give up, okay? You need more power than what you can muster within yourself. And we need to tap into that, okay? We have to stand strong in truth. We have to stand strong in our faith. We have to stay strong in our convictions. And we have to remember it's never over until we say it's over. And again, not to preach, okay? But you've heard the term kingdom of God. Now think about that for a minute. Kingdom of God. That's a government. God has a government, okay? And we are part of the kingdom of God, okay? Well, let's do our part now, all right? For that high calling, right? The kingdom of God, which we are a part of which Jesus Christ our Lord is the king of it. And may he come soon, because we're a mess, man. Okay? We're a mess. But let us be a part of the true government of God, all right? And exemplify it the best that we can in our fallible selves as a witness to the world. But we're warriors of truth. As long as we breathe, let us fight. Let us endure. Let us rise. And it's important there's in America.
Yeah, that's right.
And we've put out more Bibles than any other country in the world. All right. In fact, we did such a bad job evangelizing the world. God said, you know what, I'm going to bring Chinese people here, some crowds, and Russians, and people from South America, and some Mexicans, and you know, we're going to put them all here because there's free paths to the gospel in the United States. It's a unique place in the history of the world. There's been nothing like it, okay? So he needed a place where there was freedom. Freedom's a beautiful thing in lots of different ways, not beyond just religion, but it's important. And it was important there is we continue with the high calling. Yes, we've fallen short. Yes, we've done bad things. I get it. But even as a fallen people, we are just never been a country like the United States. Never. Never. Even with all of our flaws. So continue with the faith. So let's all become Montana vigilantes. Let's don't have any more Plummer, Ellsworths, out of line Niners. And together we will rise. If they kill us, well, we will have the legacy that I had but one life to give to my country. All right? My grandfather on his tombstone, he could have wrote all kinds of things. Could have said, great dad, good husband, you know, the typical things, right? You know, he was the best in the bowling league or whatever, I don't know. You know what it says on there? It inspires me. It just says, the year and the birth and the death, and his name. And then it says, native of Montana. And I look at that picture a lot. He was sending me a message. I never got to meet him. He died before I was born. And my grandmother lived later, but he died before I was born. But he sent me a message. How much he loved Montana. And I'm looking at you, and I can see in your eyes that you love Montana. All right? Well, let's keep it. Let's keep it free. Let's move forward. Let's be warriors for Montana, for the faith, and for all things that are good and righteous, okay? And it's really been my honor and privilege to be with you this evening. I really do thank you.
We have the room for till about 6:15. Would you take some questions?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Right,
let's see, Nancy, did we miss a question that you had, or did you answer? Okay.
Art, I'll take Montana history for 20.
So, anybody have a question?
I don't really have a question, but I do kind of have a statement.
Okay.
My husband ran against Denley Loki when he was in the House a couple terms, 2022, Randy Mitchell. And we hit the campaign trail hard. We went, knocked on doors. I researched his voting record, 2017, 2019, 2021, and I presented it to everybody I could. And people just didn't really seem to care. They are good in front and, you know, talking to them, explaining, showing them on, you know, paper and explaining to them how, because a lot of people don't understand how it works, how a bill becomes a law, you know, how these committee, you know, hearings go and then how it hits the floor and all that. They just trying to explain things to people and getting people to understand where we stood, you know, what our standard was, which our standard, we hold that up to God. God is our standard, Jesus Christ. So they just didn't really seem to care, and it seemed like people were offended also with the fact that my husband was self-campaigning. He didn't take 1 red cent from one person, and that offended people. They were bothered by that. Why?
As opposed to taking money from God and students.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, I don't like raising money for campaign, personally. When I ran for Congress, I actually self-funded. I've done well in life. So I said, I don't want to be known as owned by anybody. There's a problem with lobbyists and all that. Hey, I don't need you. One of the things that make Donald Trump great is the fact he doesn't need the money. Okay?
Right.
All right? And I think it's honorable, but some people want to be involved. And so if you just give them an envelope without any pressure, and if they want to send some money, I guess that's fine. Because people want to help hold up the arms to be part of the team. But you hit on something that's important. I want all of you to remember this. The electorate is very simple. The electorate are very simple thinkers. You guys as a whole are thinking a lot about all this stuff. You're looking at the different bills that are coming on and reading it. 98% of the people are not. In fact, if I were to go around here and ask who is your representative in the House and who is your senator, I'd probably have to talk to 50 people before they would know, okay? That's sad, I find that to be very, very sad. But what is it that they care about? In marketing, it's all about people, remember I told you I did radio, okay? So back east, the radio stations start with the letter W. Okay? So I would say, people are always tuned into the station, WIFM. What do I mean by that? W, what's in it for me? And it's remarkably simple. When I knocked on doors in the last campaign, again for Gailey, Manzella, and myself, thousands of doors, well over 1,000. I'd ask, what are you interested in? And here's where 98% of the time, it was the same two issues. WIFM. My property taxes are too high, they've gone up, and they're taxing my Social Security. So, well, that's where the rubber meets the road, talk about that, all right? You know, once in a while you get some people that are interested in other things, pro-life, or, I would say, an overwhelmingly amount of the time, those are the issues. And so, you're smart, you figure people would want to hear those smart issues. And the sad truth is, they don't. They just don't. But we need to look and blame ourselves for that to a degree, okay? We're not bringing the issues to the people, all right? People are uneducated in school. I'm an old guy. Back in the old days, boy, it was incredible how much I had to learn about government and how it works. You know, how many senators are there and how many reps, and you had to take civics classes, and things are dumbed down, all right? So it's I had a consultant tell me, an old campaign manager when I ran, he goes, Bill, you have 23 points on your webpage. He goes, wait, people can look at it and go, yeah, like it, I like it, I like it, I like it. Oh, you know, he likes 9mm instead of a 45. So he's out. And so you really want to stick to, if you're going to run. I had dinner with Ronald Reagan's son, and had him, interviewed him. And he's actually the one who told me this, what I just told you. And he said, my father only had 3 issues. He delegated everything else off. You know, strong military, you know, stop the Russians, you know, tear down the wall, whatever, right? And fix the economy. That's it. And he goes, and he stuck with that. And then there's other issues you got to deal with the president. He delegated, find good people to do it. So that's probably the answer, is find the 3 things that resonate with the most amount of people. And Mineral County up here, most of you are Mineral County?
Yes.
Okay. You know, there's unique issues that are here too. I don't know what it is. You got potholes, or they don't snowplow enough, or
Poverty, huge poverty.
whatever. I don't know. I'm not familiar with your unique localized issues. That's probably the answer. And yes, I agree with you. It's disappointing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you know, at the time, this gender reassignment surgery was a big deal, and bringing that up, you know, how our representative at the time voted basically in favor for gender reassignment surgery, you know, and really trying to bring that issue, that's a big thing, you know, or maybe not to some people, but to a lot of people it was, you know, it was pretty shocking. You know, even that didn't seem to resonate, you know, with some people. And I get we talked about taxes with people, and, you know, it's just, it seems like there's a certain amount of people here, especially in Mineral County, that are very entrenched, and it's almost like that anchoring thing, you know, the first thing they throw out, it sticks. Denley Logie seems to stick with people because he's a nice guy, and he can schmooze people, and it works for him. And that's
I am all for
and that's hard to
I am all for Mr. Denley to get a Santa Claus outfit.
Yeah.
And,
I agree.
and to go ho ho ho,
Sure.
and pass out candy to kids. Okay, I'm all for it. I think that's where he belongs. I think he'd be good.
Hallelujah.
I'd be scared to put my kid in.
That's exactly right.
But here
I
you
need to
see,
find an artist.
You might creep out a
it's
few
pretty
kids.
tough.
What was that?
You might creep out a few kids.
Yeah, you know, it's,
He actually
It creeps
has
me
that
out.
I feel your
on-
pain, I get it,
Yeah.
I feel your
Definitely
pain.
actually has that.
But,
It's the people that we had a really difficult time. My husband is so disappointed, or he just wants nothing to do with it, you know, and, you know, I'm with you, we need to fight, you know, for it. If we wanna preserve some semblance.
I'll make a
of something.
confession, I'm gonna make a confession. So I was heavily involved. And I had death threats, I had stalkers, I had private investigators, and people trying to look up a girlfriend you took to the drive-in. Right? I'm not joking on this.
Yeah.
And if they can't, and let me tell you, I'm pretty boring in life, I've never even smoked pot. I don't even drink. I only cuss if I stub my toe, okay? And, you know,
Good man.
and so, they'll make up stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
We know.
So, and they can use forums, they use
Yes.
comment sections, and they can be anonymous doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I learned all kinds of stuff about myself, who knew? You know, I didn't even know it myself. So, anyway, that's the way this does work, okay? You're gonna have enemies. But here's the deal. You know, there's the forest, you see the trees, and there's a tree that tries to get a little higher than the rest of them. I wanna live, I wanna grow. I saw a tree growing out of a rock. You ever see those?
Yeah.
It's like a little crevice, and it grows out this way, and it curls up, and it says, I wanna live. Well, let me tell you what happens to you trees that wanna rise up. You're gonna get more wind than the other trees. You're gonna get the lightning, too. The tallest point, okay? It comes with the territory. And it's a calling, all right? But it's a great privilege. It's a wonderful, wonderful privilege. Keep being a tall tree. But in my case, I ended up with high blood pressure. I just kept going, kept going, kept going. I literally died. I literally had a massive event, okay? And I had to have 3 major surgeries in 1 week. I lost a kidney, I had to have carotid surgery, I had open heart surgery, I had actually had 2 of them. And I basically was dead. I came back from the dead, all right? Oh, what do you think I said coming out of it? I was a mess. I can't wait to get back into this political thing. I get right back out there. I'm gonna have people write stuff about me on the internet. You know, no, I said, that's it, I've had it.
Yeah.
But here's who activated me. I needed a rest. I did need a little bit of a couple year rest. And now don't tell Teresa I said this. The first time that I saw Teresa Manzella, I went to an event and just sat in the back. It was at the firehouse and it's down the street. And I'd never met her before. And she came up there, this dynamic, attractive woman, and I don't know if you ever met her or seen her.
Yeah, of course.
And she goes up there, she says, I don't know about what are they talking about, boys and girls, and cut your thing off, huh? And bathrooms, and what bathroom you're gonna use. She goes, all I know is this. When I go to the bathroom and put on my pants to go pee, and I look down there, I'm a girl! And it activated me. I stood up, and I just couldn't stop clapping. I go, listen, here's this person just saying the plain truth. God bless us, but who is this? I gotta find out more. I gotta back this up. And so, yeah, I got reactivated. And let me tell you what's interesting though. I'm as healthy as a horse now. My blood pressure's good.
Good.
Now, I've matured a little bit. I learned that sticks and stones don't break your bones, okay? I'm a little older and more mature, and I handle this a lot better. I also rely on the Lord more too.
Yeah.
Right? That, hey, you know what? I'm doing it for you. I don't have to bear all
Yeah.
the sins of the people myself, right? I can't do it. That I can't do.
No,
All right? And so I have a blood pressure machine now, and everything's great. And I work out 3 times a week, and I feel good, and all that. And so I'm going to remind you, you don't have to bear this alone by yourself. If you try to do it, you don't have enough. Your husband, I don't blame him for being turned off, because I've been there, okay? All right? But if you can have the right perspective of this, okay? And compartmentalize it, okay? Get back in the fight.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I grew up in a rough neighborhood. Some kid smacks you in the back of the head on a bus coming home from high school, right? Well, they let you off by the park. Well, you're gonna have to have it out. I'd get in there and be 3 of your friends and 3 of his friends, and you're there, you start going at it, and then boom, I get my bell rung. These are your friends, okay? Get back in there!
Yeah.
You know. But that is kind of like the way life is, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and pace yourself. It's important too. Your husband put it all on the line. You tell him I appreciate that. You put it all on the
Yes.
line. You gotta leave a little in reserve.
Yeah.
But give it some time. He'll probably come back.
I think it's normal, really. We've seen it a lot. When people, especially when they run for the first time, and they put everything, their heart and soul into it, and they get just bashed. They don't want anything to do with it again, but you know, sooner or later.
Well, we were also.
Not
up
me,
against
not
it.
me.
Not me.
No, I'm not saying it is not everybody's calling to run for office. It's
No,
not.
and it's not.
Okay, but there's a place for you.
Yeah.
Make cookies for the women's club.
Yes.
Right? Who's the cookie maker here?
She brought some.
They're in my car.
Make good cookies.
Wait a minute, Kat.
I did make cookies.
Oh, and look, we've got more cookies
Oh
over
my
here.
God, she makes the
Look at
best
that. There it
cookies.
is. Miller girl, good.
She makes the best cookies.
Good deal. Any other questions on what's going on, or
Let's see, I know we're
any
ready.
insights? Are we done?
I know we're running a little past, but could you just talk to us a little bit, we talked about this at lunch, but about activating our younger people, even kids?
Good point. Yeah, I don't actually, that's funny. There's a young man, I'm gonna bring him into the business as an understudy, as a partner.
Oh,
Eventually,
nice.
he'll be taking it over. And so, I do have offices in Southern California, but I have my remote offices up here.
Yeah.
And he wants to move up there.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a good-looking kid, too. He's about 27 years old, he's smart, and he's a good guy all the way. He's with the program,
Yeah,
right? I told him, I'm gonna help you. We're gonna get you in, because we need young people.
yes,
We need young, glib,
Remember how we
attractive
preached this?
yes.
ambassadors for the truth,
Mhm.
okay? And you don't need some old gray-haired, wrinkled guy on his last legs. But, so, whatever young people that we can find, that we can inspire. And it's not like you run them for governor the first week out.
Right.
But we have 2 young men
Mhm.
in the House. They knock my socks off.
Yes,
All right, one of them's named Lucas Sherber.
Mhm.
He's out of the
Oh, yeah.
Kalispell area.
yeah,
Now, when I first heard that there's a 19-year-old in the House, I'm like, wait till you meet this
Yeah.
guy. Dressed sharp, talks sharp. He's 19 going on 50.
Yeah.
His maturity blows me away.
Mhm.
He's an amazing young man. He has a very good upbringing.
How about Tim
Was he
Sheehy?
homeschooled?
What was that?
How about Tim Sheehy? He's not very old.
Tim Sheehy?
No comment.
I could discuss that. Let me finish about this other young man, Mitchell Braxton.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, Mitch Braxton.
Okay.
Braxton's
He's
awesome.
the majority whip.
Mhm.
He's only like 24 years
Yeah.
old.
Mhm.
And I love that young man.
Mhm.
He's brave.
Oh,
He's
man.
Braveheart, you know?
He's cool.
Just,
Yes.
and there's some tough old crows there like Lou Jones and all that, and he don't care.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Bring it on. And he's a good soul. These are good, kind, loving people with courage.
Yeah.
Man of velvet, man of steel. But we need some younger ones because it's getting tougher.
Yeah.
You know, as we're getting a little older, we need to, but we have a special place as mentors and teachers
Yes.
and encouragers and all that too. There's a place for all that. But we do, if you know any young people,
Yeah.
okay, encourage them to get involved. You start off going to central committee meetings.
Yeah.
And then maybe you get on the central committee,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you help with a campaign, and a little bit of an education process as such, and then eventually graduate them in, all right? But we need to be looking on that, for sure. Here's one good thing we got going on is this. I haven't seen your central committee, but it's probably like ours. If you could just forbear these people, for 2 more years, 3/4 of them are not gonna be there anymore.
Oh, no, half of them won't be there before then.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they're about ready to
They're
check
dropping
out,
like
if you
flies.
know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we need to find some good replacements. Yeah, I know everybody complains about people coming here from out of state.
we're gonna cut off
All the younger people that are coming here out of state. A lot of them are coming here for the right reasons.
Yeah,
Yes.
I gotta get out of California because it's
Yeah.
going liberal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I gotta get out of Illinois, Washington State, whatever it is. And, you know, hey, you get some new neighbors down there.
Yeah.
Put a little something in their ear,
Yeah.
as it comes naturally,
Yes.
okay? But we need to rebuild. We
Yeah.
need to rebuild. We
Yeah.
need to keep the minor league system, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
And I think we're about time.
Yeah, yeah.
I have one more question
All right, one more.
about the central committees.
Yes.
If they're not standing on the Republican platform, why are they still allowed to be there as officers?
When I swore in, we did a litmus test. We said that I pledge loyalty to the Constitution of the United States, to the Constitution of the State of Montana, and to the platform of the Republican Party. Half the people in central committees will not do that. They will not pledge loyalty to the Republican Party platform. And I say, why are you in the Republican Party?
Right.
You are a liar.
amen.
You're a liar. I have no problem if they want to become independent or libertarian, whatever they want to be, okay? But you're lying to the people if you're not loyal to the platform of the Republican Party. It's as simple as that.
Well, and our state
Yeah, out of our
GOP
bylaws.
chair is our biggest problem with all of that, and hopefully when that changes in June, hopefully we'll have somebody that will get stuff put together.
Who was this?
Well, we were not sure positive who's gonna become the chair, and the chair is Don Kay right now.
Oh, no, okay, you're talking state, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
And so,
gonna stop.
once we get somebody in June, that could change.
Tanner Smith?
I like Tanner. Tanner can be a little rough, but
Oh, yes.
Tanner, he
But in
is
the right way, in the right way.
in the right way. He's a fighter,
Yes, he is.
and he's a good man. He really is. I know him
Yes.
pretty well, and I want Tanner Smith.
Yes, yes,
Amen.
Because you don't mess around.
that's right.
He says the straight truth, he says the
Yep.
hard things,
What we
and
need.
he'll be good for the Republican
Oh,
Party,
yeah.
in my honest opinion.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right, you have been a wonderful audience, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For joining me, I'm gonna watch what you guys have it out here in your committee.
Yes, yeah,
Oh,
Where's that?
yes,
Is that here?
please.
that's right, yeah.
Oh, all right,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, so don't go anywhere. I'm gonna let the other folks in, because they're trying, you don't even have to find a new chair.